connection to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
It's now time for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Brian Pasquale.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I am in a mood, so you've got 2 full hours of me in a mood. I am angry with just about everything. The one thing I am not angry about is Russell Wilson.
Dangerous.
Honestly. Well, I don't even say dangerous because that stupid Permane Brothers thing that he's doing, it just irks me. Yes, so I was wrong. I said that Justin Fields should be our quarterback.
Yeah.
He should be our quarterback next year. He should be the quarterback the year after. And then all it took was all of the Jets' defensive backs to get hurt and Russell Wilson to have a good game, and I've changed my mind.
In beating a 2-5 Jets team.
Oh, they're terrible. The Jets are as bad as Aaron Rodgers. I said a couple years ago, and this was not last year during the ankle or the Achilles injury, but the year before that, I said, Rodgers is washed up. I could see it. I could see he lost the velocity on the ball. He still might make the right decisions. He still might call for the defenses to play a certain way, but I saw it, and I told my buddy, and he was like, oh, you're an idiot. Well, I don't think so. You know, maybe his decline took another 6 months to happen, but he's bad. Aaron Rodgers is bad.
It reminded me a lot of the tail end of Ben, because Ben went through, he had the elbow injury, and he had a lot of different injuries.
Franklin?
Yes, Ben Franklin. But it just, he was the same guy. He had the same mind. You knew he could still play the game, but you're right. Physically, he just wasn't there anymore. He's been in the league for, almost 20 years. And you just felt that, and I get that same vibe from Aaron Rodgers.
All right, everyone. You're listening to Ryan Garazunas right now. He's joining me at the St. Barnabas Studios. Please call in at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. I want to talk about so many things today. It has to do with sports. Ryan's he's dropping everything over there. Hopefully not his pants. But I want to talk about. We're going to talk about the Steelers. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball playoffs. We're going to talk about the stupid NBA playoffs. We're going to talk about everything. Also, we're going to talk about the election that's coming up. I know this is a sports talk radio show, but there's things going on that are already just driving me crazy. So we'll probably talk about that in maybe the 4:30 block or so. But I don't know. Russell Wilson went out there and proved everyone wrong except for Mike Tomlin.
Listen, I don't know if he proved us wrong. I mean, of course, we
had 400 yards of offense. That's 4 times what we had the 4 games before.
And that literally has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. What I was going to say was we just, we were 4-2 with the guy that came and played from game 1 to 6. The team was progressively getting a little bit better every week. And then that very last game that he played was against the Raiders, and we won that game by 20 some points. So I don't think that it was such a weird thing that everybody wanted to stay on that train. You didn't want to fix something that wasn't broken, but he did. He came in, and I think that he played better than everybody expected. Early on, I thought it was rough. He was throwing these bullets into the ground, and I thought, oh, yeah, what do we got? But but
I think he threw a couple of them away on purpose.
Of course, he did. And
everybody's like, what was that pass? And I'm like, well, he saw the 2 defenders ready to smear the guy, and he just threw it away rather than taking the loss or the catch/fumble/interception.
But there was a lot of times during this game that I did see stuff where, a veteran, somebody who's won before, he knows how to do things. And there were certain points in the game where you thought, you know what, if we just stretch this field a little bit, and he did that. He had the right mindset where he was able to throw the ball down the field. It pulled people out of the box, and Najee was able to do what it was he did. So I for what you said, yes, everybody was wrong. Mike Tomlin was right, but I don't think it was it's that much of a surprise. And two, I think that he came in and did what he was supposed to. A 2-5 Jets, we beat by 20 points or whatever. Let's see what we could do after the break. We have the Giants. Hopefully we could win this game, get healthy during the break, and then we have a bunch of pretty tough games. So we'll see what Danger Russ can do moving forward.
Oh God!
Because the goal here is to make the playoffs, and we're sitting. We can.
No, I don't think the goal is to make the playoffs, Ryan. I get where you're coming from at this point in the season, but the goal is to win a playoff game, or at least not get embarrassed by like 3 touchdowns like we have the last 4 times.
Yeah, I'd like to win one. I mean, we haven't won a game in 8 years in the playoffs, so I mean, you'd like to get that win under your belt.
Who was our last win? We lost to Jacksonville. We
I think
lost
it was
to Cleveland.
Kansas City, I believe.
Yeah, and it was Russell. It was Patrick Mahomes' rookie season.
Okay.
Because I believe Alex Smith was the quarterback, and he was learning under
right.
Alex Smith, and we beat Alex Smith. Yes, that's right. All right, so Russell Wilson comes in. We score 31 unanswered after the streaker. What did you think of the streaker?
I liked what you know what
what
it was fun. We don't usually have things like that in Pittsburgh. To have all the superstar power that we had here over the past couple of weeks and having a streaker, it's a little bit of excitement that we just generally.
It was a fully clothed streaker. Of all the streakers that have ever streaked, if we could have had one not clothed, I would have picked this one. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, she's surgically enhanced in several areas. I don't know if you saw the picture of her going down the steps and jumping the little wall.
No, I didn't.
Okay, she is as fully frontal surgically enhanced she is. She's fully enhanced in the rear as well. It's odd looking. It's really odd looking.
Yeah. I didn't pay that much attention to be honest with you. I've seen her on TV. I've seen them pull the camera away, of course, and a couple of things that you had up. And besides for that, I didn't really see too much else.
We'll get up to what I have up, and we'll get up to that at some point here. I am just really, really fuming right now. I'm angry with so many things. Here's one thing that I think's funny, and I appreciate everybody that's listening right now. You're tuning into 99.3 WBVP, and I appreciate that. I have tuned into a couple other stations of sports talk radio. There's this little short horse guy that I listen to, and there's this like M&M's guy that I listen to every once in a while, right? And between the both of them, first off, they're both full of crap. Second off, all it is freaking commercials. I'll have an 18-minute commute from point A to point B. It'll be maybe a minute and a half of actual radio.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to WBVP here, 99.3. We appreciate all of you. We are going to pump out as little advertisement as possible. Obviously, we have to do that to keep the radio station afloat and keep everybody having the airways they have. But it is, at least 90% of this show, 90% of the other shows are the actual show and not commercials trying to sell you something?
Yeah, it's pretty rough a lot of times, man.
Now, the few advertisers that we do have, make sure you support them. Obviously, they're great. We do appreciate that. But why wouldn't 80% of your show need to be advertisement? I don't understand. How is that a show, Ryan?
Well, maybe when you're so great, like the great M&M that you were talking about, they need to scrape money as much as they can to pay the guy.
Oh, he's a mean, miserable piece of garbage.
Yeah,
he's number 2 on my list. The other one's that little short horse guy. He posts the most idiotic
things.
The
worst.
He's like, he wants to. You know who he wants to be?
Who?
He wants to be the poor man's Adam Schefter.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be Adam Schefter. He wants to be the poor man. He posts these dumb things like, hey, would you give up this guy for this trade? And, Kenny Pickett. And it's just like, why would anybody listen to your show?
Yeah.
You're pathetic. He came in. He was all right for a couple of years. The poor little small horse fella. But thank you for all listening here to WBVP 99.3. I can't say it enough. Listen, we're going to keep the advertisements to a low. Advertisers, we're going to push you as much as possible. It's a win-win. Short advertisements, support the advertisers, support the station. That's it. We're not going to pump 80% of our show as stupid advertisements. I'm just so sick of it. I've had it up to here, Ryan. up to here with that amongst other things.
And as you said, we do support the advertisement that we do have, because everything is it's local, and it helps people that just like you and myself who live right here in Beaver County and that are just trying to get by like everybody else. So please do support.
Right. We need the advertisers,
Absolutely.
but it doesn't need to dominate the show.
Right.
It needs to be an enhancement of the show. Like, oh, I like the show, and oh yeah, unfortunately we had somebody pass away. There's a Spratt funeral home, which all of my family in New Brighton has been buried and shown there and taken to the cemetery. It's a great place. There's so many good things about that place, the way they treat you during times of need. They're not even a sponsor of my show in particular, but I just want to give a shout out to them. They do a great job when everybody's really hurting and upset. But we're here to talk about sports. We're here to reflect on the 37-15 Steelers win. That's back-to-back wins, Ryan, that we weren't having to stress out. Were they going to give up the winning touchdown like they did against the Cowboys?
I didn't know how to handle 2 games like this in a row, Brian. I got to tell you, it was a bit confusing. But, you're right. We beat, I think, by right around a total of 50 points. We beat our last 2 opponents by. Now, granted, they're both sitting at 2-5. Nobody really knew what to make of the Steelers
Well, they
game.
could both be 3-4 if they would have beat us.
That's right. They could have been. You're right. They could have been 3-4.
Right.
But things are looking good. And again, as I said, don't lose this next game. Get focused. Win this game, get to the break, get healthy, come into the second half at 6-2. You legitimately, we could always say it could have been this, it could have been that, but you don't lose to the Cowboys on the last play of the game. You win that game, you're sitting at 6-1 right now. Very happy. So I don't think we're that far off. And if you look around the team or around the league, I'm sorry, there's a lot of teams in the group that we're in. I don't think that we're out of it. I think we have just as good a chance as anybody else. I know today the Chiefs did get D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, which I think is going to help improve their team. But everybody else, I think we're in the running. I really do.
Here's my next question. All right. And for you listeners out there that watch on YouTube or that watch on Facebook, check out Ryan's microphone versus my microphone. Why is Ryan's microphone much larger than my microphone? Is there a reason for that? Can somebody here at the St. Barnabas studio here at Fry Transportation Studios tell me why the producer's microphone is larger than my microphone? I want to know.
I don't know, but it seems to fit. I have the larger feet, so I get the larger microphone, I guess, right?
I don't know what
larger
that means.
hands. I don't know. Which I really don't, but I thought it would be a good point.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Steelers. Next segment, we're going to talk about the Steelers. Then we're going to get into all kinds of different sports. I want to hear from you guys, the fans. I want you guys to call in 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888. Call in all show because I want to hear your opinions on Mike Tomlin, the genius. What's the fella, Ryan, that's paralyzed, the really smart guy? Shoot.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin Hawking, the smartest guy alive, went to a 47-year-old quarterback that hasn't played in like a year and a half, did terrible, doesn't have a calf, and they go out and they put up, 400 and some yards on offense?
It was a good day. A lot of people look. I mean, like myself, Brian, you got to say to yourself, this guy hasn't played football in months. He really hasn't. He's been walking on a tight calf.
He didn't look rusty at all in the first quarter.
You know what? Because of all the things that was presented to us, I think that it was common sense to take the approach that most people took, Brian, before this game. And obviously, Mike Tomlin is the head coach. He knows things that we don't know, and it ended out working out good for him.
They ran that Mount Washington play like 85 times.
Yeah.
Did you notice the first 2, it worked for first downs, and then after that, he got tackled after like 3 yards?
Yeah.
They need to figure out a different play for him so that he has 2 plays that they go to.
Yeah.
Maybe one like right over the middle.
Maybe they will work on that this week, because I did notice that as well. And, you get the ball in this guy's hands, and the more comfortable he gets in the league, I think he's going to be more productive. And the guy jumps over grown men. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. He jumps over grown men. I like his abilities. I want to see more. And him him with Pat Freiermuth, we have a pretty decent set of tight ends.
Now, Pat Freiermuth is what, like 6'7"?
I'm not sure.
And Darnell Washington's like 7'2". Now, Russell Wilson, he's 4'11", but I'm pretty sure he could see those two guys over the offensive line, right?
You know, when I seen him getting interviewed before the game and he was, a foot and a half shorter than the guy that was interviewing, I thought, boy, we're in trouble.
I thought you were going to say the girl that interviewed him.
We are in big trouble, but you know what? It didn't seem to affect him one bit. He sees over the line, I guess.
Did you see him throw it over the middle?
Yeah, a little bit.
To who?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. I remember a lot of the backfield passes, the little short, quick passes. The deep ball down the sidelines, never over the middle. There's a lot we're going to break down. That's what I want to get into. Next segment, we're going to get into the breakdown of the game versus the Jets. Russell Wilson's coming out party here in Pittsburgh. And then after that, I want to get into, there's so much going on in sports right now. I want to get into all that. But you guys are going to have to wait about 2 minutes. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
This is Andy Toole, men's basketball coach at Robert Morris University, here to talk about my friends at Falcone Moon Township Ford. I know what it takes to win a basketball game. It begins with practice and a team of players who want to win. The same is true of the team at Moon Township Ford. Professionals who will win you over. They'll find the best rate and terms on a car loan to help you get the best deal. Make a fast break and avoid the roadblocks that stop you from finding the car you want. Go where I go. Moon Township Ford.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
When you talk about community involvement and safety, the name Fry stands at the forefront in Beaver County. Fry Transportation's mission is to continue to raise the bar as the gold standard in their industry by providing the safest, most reliable, and cost-efficient transportation service in Beaver County through their strong relationships with their communities, best-in-their-class drivers, equipment, and technology. There's nothing more important than the safety of their students, employees, and community members. Fry Transportation, where the quality of their organization is characterized by the makeup of the individual behind the wheel.
Your Beaver County McDonald's restaurants are proud to partner with Beaver County Radio in sponsoring all the local high school football games this season. Stop into any of your local McDonald's restaurants for everyday value items like 2 for $3 mix and match, sausage burrito, sausage McMuffin, and hash browns. Don't forget to download the app for extra special savings. Looking for a great part-time job? Visit mchire.com today to apply. Good luck to all the Beaver County football teams this season from your local McDonald's restaurants. I'm loving it.
Hey, can you imagine trying to hit a fastball or throwing a runner out at home? It's hard to think of doing these things under perfect circumstances, let alone with the distraction and discomfort of dental issues. Regular dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip can improve your productivity, happiness, and focus, even if you're not in the big leagues. Dental problems affect more than just your teeth. Visit lipdentistry.com or Dr. C. Timothy Lip Family Dental Offices on College Hill and Robinson Township.
Looking for a fall activity for your children? Pass and score your way into the Beaver County YMCA's Youth Soccer League. The league will teach the basic fundamentals of soccer. There will be one practice a week teaching drills and skills. This soccer league is for kids ages 5 through 12 and runs from September 10th to October 19th. Registration is already open. To register, go to beavercountyymca.org.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. You can check him out alongside co-host Mike Mueller every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till noon on YouTube. Search Two Dumb Yinzers. They talk Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and much, much more. Also, make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. If you'd like to chime in today, please give us a call at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Ryan, I don't know. Russell Wilson, huh? Russell Wilson. He did well. I was not expecting that to happen. I actually, there was a quote that said, and I posted it on X, and it got like 9 zillion views on X, formerly known as Twitter, that said something that Trump started at McDonald's and went to Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson started at Acrisure Stadium and will end up at McDonald's. And that was in the first quarter when he couldn't do anything. I mean, he threw that one little screen pass to Darnell Washington, and I think he had a screen pass to the running back in the backfield, and that was it. And everything else, like you said, was in the ground, or he threw it away, and people were booing him and chanting Justin Fields, and then boom, 2 big, beautiful eyes go streaking down the field, and all of a sudden, the Steelers totally redeem themselves and turn it around and score 31 unanswered. Yeah. Do you think it was the streaker?
It has to be the streaker. There's no other explanation besides that it was the streaker.
I mean, they forced a punt. Way to go. They got the ball.
Right.
They're lining up. It's 1st and 10 at, I don't know, it was like the 30-something. And boom, this girl with the biggest eyes I've ever seen.
They're big eyes.
Running down the field. She has on these little yoga black pants or whatever. She jumps she runs through the end zone. She runs from the 5, the 10. She's back. She's at the 20. She's at the 25. She's at the 30. She's got the sign in her hands. And then boom, gets arrested. And the Steelers go on a run like I haven't seen since, the heyday of Ben, Brown, Bell, and Boswell.
Well, I'm glad that she ran in front of the Steelers bench, because I wouldn't have liked the Jets to get this big boost that we had got. So, I mean, obviously it was the woman, the streaker, that got it done.
All right. Well done, Claudia Rose. Claudia, you can check her out on Instagram. She, from the last time I checked, and this is a while ago, she went from like 50,000 viewers to like 62,000. So she gained like 12,000 viewers in like less than 24 hours.
Just from running out on the field. What kind of fine does that bring, I wonder?
I don't know. I'm sure the viewers on Instagram and whatever else. Somebody. Here's my thing. If you've seen this girl, somebody else paid that fine. I don't know if it's the arresting police officer or some Splendid Daddy or whatever you want to call it paid that fine.
Are you saying that you don't think she worked overtime to pay off her fine for this game?
She definitely did not. She definitely did not. So there was a lot going on at the Steelers game. We're going to get into that next segment. I don't want to get into that too much. I want to talk more about the play. There was this center, Ryan McCollum. No, not the McCollum that gets called up from the G League and wins the dunk contest, but Ryan McCollum, the center for the Steelers. He's played very, very well.
Isn't that dude in the NBA named McClunk?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. To be honest, Brian, I'm very, very impressed with what it is that the offensive line's able to do. It's a bunch of plug and plays, mismatches, misfits, and you know what? It's working. I thought that Russell Wilson would be in bigger trouble than he was throughout the course of the game. I think one time he landed on, he got taken down for a sack. Other than that, he's not the fastest. He's not the most swift of foot, but he was able to slide out of situations and roll out and make things happen. And for what it is, I was impressed. The offensive line, amongst many other things in this football game, Brian, you could be very impressed with. But that obviously being an Achilles heel of this team, this offensive line, you gotta love what they were able to do Sunday.
Let's break down the offensive line here real quick. And I know it's not that sexy to talk about. It's more sexy to talk about the running backs and the receivers and the quarterbacks and T.J. Watt and blah 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 blah. But we're going to talk about the offensive line from left to right. Dan Moore Jr. The last 2 seasons, the Steelers have gone out and drafted a tackle with their number 1 pick, Broderick Jones. They traded up for last year. And Troy Fatano this year, who's out for the year. Dan Moore Jr., I don't know when he was drafted, like the 18th round?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Something like that. He stood his ground. He plays every game. and he's been doing his job over there at left guard or left tackle. Moving to left guard, Isaac Seumalo. He had an injury. He's been back. The quarterback sneak has worked 100% of the time since he's been with the Steelers. He's been doing his job. Then you have at center, Ryan McCollum. He is the backup to the backup. Our starting center was supposed to be Herbig. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah.
He got hurt. He's out for the year. Up comes Zach Frazier, the rookie, the number 2 draft pick by the Steelers last year, the West Virginia 4-time state wrestling champion, heavyweight. He's out for several games with, I believe it's an ankle injury. He's likely to be back for the Redskins game after the break. But Ryan McCollum, no idea who he is, no idea where he went to college, no idea how long he's been in the pros.
Right.
But he did a fantastic job. Did he not?
No, he really did. I have nothing bad to say. I mean, you could think of the few earlier weeks in the season where Frazier was, throwing back some bad snaps to Fields, and there was a few issues here and there on exchange. But for a guy that, what is he? Probably a third-string center, I guess you could call him, and a quarterback that hasn't played in months, it went very, very smooth for that exchange for sure.
Then we had, what was it, James Daniels?
Yeah.
James Daniels, I don't know. His last year here with the Steelers is going to be this year. He's likely to be gone. So the Steelers in the 4th round drafted Mason McCormick to hopefully learn, get some reps, maybe in some garbage time during practice, and move into that right guard position, hopefully next year. Well, sorry, Daniels is out for the year. Mason McCormick, put you in. This guy does not let anybody touch the quarterback.
You got to love what he's doing.
Then you have Broderick Jones. The Steelers moved up, traded with the Patriots, our beloved Patriots here, and moved up to the 11th pick overall last year to get Broderick Jones to take over as left tackle for the next decade. Turns out last year he couldn't beat out Dan Moore Jr. They put him in at right tackle because the right tackle didn't try. He went on Twitter and said, I don't try.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason Broderick Jones got the job.
Right.
Came in, was huge in the run game. We went from rushing like 80 yards a game to 140 some a game because of Broderick Jones. Comes into this season and can't block anybody. Takes penalties, fights people after the whistle, and to be honest with you, 1 out of 3 plays, he looks like a Pro Bowler. The other 2 plays look like he shouldn't be in a uniform.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on the head. You take your first round pick. I mean, draft picks are like gold anymore in this league. And, we take our first 2 picks, or our first pick of the last 2 drafts, and get the future offensive line, your lineman of the future for the next 5 to 8 years, hopefully in Pittsburgh. And look the situation that we're in. I mean, you nailed it right on the head. Fatanu done for the year. I mean, what a kick in the head that is. And Broderick Jones, I mean, people are still scratching their head trying to figure out what it is we have with this guy. So it's crazy to me that the people that are excelling are the McCollums, Brian, and the McCormicks. These guys aren't your number 1 draft picks. These guys aren't the people that you traded up to get the guy for.
Did they fight the King of England back in the 1600s?
Who's that? McCollum?
McCormick?
Yes.
That's a good clan.
Yes.
If I want to have a clan, that's the clan I'm going to have.
Those are the guys you want to play behind.
McJones and McSeumalo and McMoore.
These are the guys that are proving themselves. I mean, you sit there and say, these guys over here are top draft picks or number 1 picks. They should be good by default. These guys are the ones who's the ones getting the job done right now. It's not the first round guys. It's the guys out there proving themselves week in, week out. And the offensive line, I mean, despite all the issues it's had, Brian, it's still improving every week. And these guys are building a cohesiveness, and you're starting to feel more confident with this offensive line.
The one thing I was scared of, and this happened, I don't know, let's just say 20 times last game, maybe 5 each quarter. The offensive line would just have a complete breakdown. A lot of it was Broderick Jones, but they would just have a complete breakdown, and you're like, oh no, our 47-year-old, 4'11" quarterback's going to get sacked. And I don't know, Russell Wilson zipped right out of there. He had the legs of a young Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's like Michael Vick or anything,
No,
but he had the
not.
legs of a young Ben Roethlisberger. He escaped the sack several times. I believe one time he gained like a yard or two. It's technically a sack, but it wasn't a sack. But other than that, he escaped all of those blitzes that were just blow-ups. I couldn't believe it.
And it works as such, Brian, because now we're going to see him again against a pretty bad Giants team. I mean, this New York Giants team is pretty rough. If he goes out there and has an amazing game again, now we come across a situation because after that, you have the Commanders, the Redskins. After that, you have the Ravens. After that, so games are going to get more difficult. So, do we really know what rust we have? We're going to get our heads are going to get inflated because again, this week is probably going to go well. We're going to have a bye week. We're going to have time to sit around and think about it. But then 2 weeks after that, when we do face the Washington football team and the Ravens, do you still expect these kind of results, Brian? Do you still expect to see Russell Wilson do what he came out and did this past week against the 2-5 Jets? I don't know. So we may have more issues down the road. Right now, we're all happy as can be. No two ways about it. Western Pennsylvania is glowing. But, again, down the road, the games are going to get harder. And then eventually, again, like you had mentioned, if we want to get into the playoffs and win.
Playoffs?
Talking about playoffs? Do you think that Russell Wilson can do those things, Brian? Or are we going to be back in square one here in a couple weeks?
Well, I know there's a lot of people that after one game, actually one half, that Russell Wilson played well. People are talking about the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We're going to get into that much, much more when we come back. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Next to Fisher's Beverage in New Brighton is open. Yes, the owner of the food truck whose pizza you enjoy has a storefront in New Brighton. Next to Fisher's Beverage, Al's Pizza is open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Al's Pizza also has hoagies, calzones, pepperoni rolls, and gluten-free options. If you like pickles, you'll love their pickle pizza. Yes, pickle pizza. So stop out and see Al next to Fisher's Beverage in New Brighton for a pizza for your tailgates this football season. Make your dream of a college degree a reality at Community College of Beaver County. CCBC offers 10 pathways to success, including health sciences, criminal justice, industrial technology, business, and more. Start at CCBC and finish your career or get transfer ready, all at a realistic cost. Enroll today, ccbc.edu. Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care, 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
Tri-State Sporting Arms on Main Street in New Brighton is now open. Stop in and explore their extensive selection of high-quality firearms, pistols, and accessories. Tri-State Sporting Arms also pays top dollar for used firearms. Their experienced and highly trained staff is here to assist you in selecting the right firearm for you. Stop on down to Beaver County's newest firearms store, Tri-State Sporting Arms, at 807 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check them out on Facebook.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
Ryan, it's so much better whenever we come in with the music. Whenever we come in with dead silence, I don't like it. Just an FYI. I don't know what the fans out there think, but I like the music. Dun, 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 dun.
I like the music too.
I sound like Beavis. Dun, 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 dun.
That's exactly,
fire.
That's exactly what you sounded like.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I'm here at the same part of his studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. You can check him out alongside co-host Mike Mueller every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till noon on YouTube. Search The Two Dumb Yinzers. They talk Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and much, much more. Also, make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. There's an issue that I have wanted to talk about for the last 34 minutes, Ryan. Yes, the last 34 minutes. We do have a caller, though. Jerry, go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Absolutely wonderful. What do you want to talk about, Jerry?
Do you remember Randy Grossman? He used to play for the Steelers.
Absolutely.
I do.
Yes.
He was a tight end. Every year in the summertime, they says, Randy Grossman, he's not going to make the team. He's too slow. He's not big enough, blah, 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 blah. He lasted like 8 years. And, finally when they let him go, it's like, well, you knew Randy Grossman wasn't going to make the team. He had a pretty long NFL career. Dan Moore is becoming like the new Randy Grossman.
Dan Moore Jr. is going to get a huge contract this offseason. I don't think it's going to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but somebody's going to give that durable guy a huge contract. He's going to be a multi-millionaire, I believe.
He's in his fourth year already. Every year it's like, Dan Moore, he's not going to start. He's not going to play. He plays another 1 or 2 years. He's had a pretty good NFL career.
Yeah, like I said,
he gets a big contract. He's really going to have a big NFL.
He doesn't miss any games either. Know he's going to be there.
No, he's out there all the time. They bring these guys in, all going to be better than him, and you look up and there's Dan Moore out there. So
yeah, they move them all to the opposite side of the offensive line. They're like, well, we drafted you to take over Dan Moore's job, but we're going to move you way down the other end.
Yeah. I got a question for you. I got an overall Pittsburgh sports question for you guys. What do you think about this idea that they want to bring in a women's NBA team to Pittsburgh? Do you think that could fly around here?
Here's the situation. There are currently 8 WNBA teams. I'm glad you asked this question, Jerry, because I am a WNBA connoisseur. It's tough to watch, but I do know a lot about the WNBA. In the when did they start? 1996, Ryan? We figured this out?
Yes, right around there.
So they have lost $1 million every year. So basically, they get like a welfare check from the NBA to survive, okay? So the WNBA has not learned how to survive as their own entity. They've just been a recipient of the welfare check. This past year, Jerry, it's been more popular than ever. Caitlin Clark enters the league. She's selling out home games. She's selling out away games. Attendance was up by like $2.3 million. Do you think they made money this year, or do you think they lost 4 times that amount and lost $40 million this year?
They probably lost money.
They lost $40 million this year because they have no idea what they're doing. Their leader is completely lost. Their players expect to be paid like the NBA players, or at least, a portion of that, and yet they don't make. Well, I think after next year that's going to probably happen. I think their contract's through this year. But they want to expand from 8 teams, I heard, to 12. And like you said, Pittsburgh is one of the spots that they'd like to expand. Nobody likes the NBA here. Why would people like the WNBA?
Not only do they want to have women's basketball, and like I say, you want to expand. Caitlin Clark can only play in one city a night. So she's not going to be in these other cities all that often. But they want to have a women's soccer team down in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, that
I don't know about this. It's very exciting. They got people's imagination for 1 year. Do it again and again, and let's see how it goes. Because I can't see, the initial excitement. You'll get people coming like the first couple games. What do you do like in the 20th game of the season? Are you still getting the same people coming down and even more? I don't see it in Pittsburgh. I just really don't.
Yeah, and you need the corporations to be buying season tickets to sell all these as well. And I believe it is Denver, and forgive me if I'm wrong here, but Denver is the smallest city that has 4 of the major teams, where they have the NBA, the Major League Baseball, the hockey, NHL, and NFL. And, they're much larger than Pittsburgh. I just don't think. Heck, we're not even selling out Penguins games, and we have Sidney Crosby here.
Here's another question for you. What do you think's going to happen to the Penguins once Sidney Crosby and Malkin and Letang retire?
People won't go.
Are you old enough to remember what happened before Mario came, after Mario's first retirement? Were you around to go to the games then?
Yeah, I mean, yes, and the sad part is nobody else went to the games.
Yeah, good seats were available every night.
The one thing that the Penguins did, and it was very smart, and what they did was during the heyday of the Malkin, Letang, and Crosby area was they did that student rush promotion. And now, Jerry, all of those former students are now having kids. They're adults. They have jobs. And I think they're going to go to the games. So while the slope's going to go down, I don't think it's going to bottom out completely.
I remember, because the first game I ever went to see the Penguins play with my dad, Gump Worsley was the goaltender, so you know how many 100 years ago that was. Mm-hmm. But, those years in between Mario and Sid, they were pretty grim. And those years before Mario were pretty grim. And, boy, I don't know. People were so used to seeing, Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby, Jaromir Jagr, all these players, they were up at the top of the standings and say, boy, when they go, I don't know if guys are going to want to go down and see the new Dan Frawley or somebody playing for the Penguins. That's going to be a hard sell for them.
Well, when I was growing up, and Ryan's probably in the same boat as me, is, the Pittsburgh, they were the city of championship. The city of champions. Mm-hmm. And my dad used to take me down to Three River Stadiums to go watch the Steelers. Now, they were the 4-time Super Bowl champions. They were great. Everybody loved the Steelers, the Steel Curtain. But I went to see Mark Malone and Bubby Brister play, and it was brutal.
Yeah. Those are pretty tough. But, the Steelers have an advantage. They have 8 games a year to fill, 9 games or so. These other teams, they want you to come down 3 or 4 times a month. They got 40-game schedules, 80-game schedules for the Pirates, different things like that. That's a hard sell. Boy, I tell you, you might go down on somebody's birthday, but I don't know if you want to go down every week afterwards and things like that. So,
and somebody
it's
especially
interesting to see what they do. I think that basketball league with the women, they're expanding way too aggressively.
I agree 100%. You don't have a plus. You don't. It's not it's a test market. If you bring it to Pittsburgh, you're going by. Do you think that it's going to do well? Again, Pittsburgh. Do we show much sign of being a basketball city? I don't think so. And if this team starts, and let's say they go 2-38 for the first season, that certainly wouldn't give you the motivation to want to get down there and see these guys. I think that it doesn't last a season, maybe 2 seasons.
The other problem is there's about 10 to 12 really good WNBA players right now. So with 8 teams, each team probably has a good player. Some teams have 2, some have 3. You go to 12 teams, some teams aren't even going to have a great player. I mean, that's the reality.
Do you ever go to girls' basketball game, like college basketball around here?
I have gone to high school basketball games, but not college, no.
Well, I used to go to Robert Morris. That's where I graduated from. Once in a blue moon, we'd go down to Moontide. Usually you get together, see somebody, go have drinks or something. We'll go over sit around for the game. And I'll tell you, some of those games, I was surprised we couldn't go down and play for a couple minutes down there. I mean, that crowd was sparse. It was like, where do you want to sit? Anywhere you want, and there was just nobody there. It's going to be a real hard sell. That enthusiasm, like I say, you can't get Caitlin Clark playing in your town every night. And on those nights when she's not there, boy, I don't know. What are you going to draw them in with?
It seems like every so often they do this. When I was in high school, they had the Pittsburgh Piranhas that popped up from the ABA. That lasted 1 year. Then what they try back in the 90s, they tried a lacrosse team. That lasted 1 season. It just doesn't feel, this is Steeler country. And, we tolerate our Pirates because it's our team. We want a good team. And then again, like the Penguins, like you guys were saying, but ultimately, I can't imagine a WNBA team making it here. I can't imagine it.
Indoor soccer, remember that?
Indoor soccer,
yes.
The
Pittsburgh Spirit.
Stan Terlecki.
Yes. Well, here's real quick, and this is, I could be off by like less than 50 here, but the average attendance for the Indiana Fever 2 seasons ago was 2,733 people. 2,700. That's the average attendance. So I think you would see similar numbers here in Pittsburgh.
I got to think so. I mean, unless they get some real phenom that everybody wants to go see. But like you say, how many do they come around all the time?
One so far.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, nice talking to you guys.
All
Thanks,
right, Jerry.
Jerry.
Way to go. Good call.
Okay, we'll talk again.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
it. No, that's a great point that he made. I would go down and check them out. I mean, everybody would have that visit. I think you'd want to go down and check out, see what's going on. But come
All right,
on.
we're going to quiz. We have what, 40 seconds here before we have to go to break.
Yeah.
Name one player from the WNBA Finals that happened Monday night.
I can't.
Exactly. I couldn't either.
Yeah.
I know the one girl, she made like a 3 or something, and then the next night she made a 3, and it was. There was a point, and I watched the game on Monday night. I tuned in right after, Sunday night. The Steelers just won. I flipped right over to the WNBA game. There was like 4 minutes left to go, and it was like 51-50.
Yeah.
They were 2 for, I want to say like 28 from the 3-point line. Like, what the heck? Like, this is your final. This is the height of the sport. It was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it still has a ways to go, and that's the kind of things they have to sit down in these boardrooms and talk about. They got to figure out how to make this thing work. Obviously, as you told Jerry, they've been piggybacking the NBA for 30 years. They have to sit down, figure this thing out again. You can't continue to lose. How much did they lose this season?
$40 million this season.
And this is the best season that they've ever had.
Attendance-wise
yeah.
and yes, advertising-wise, but they lost 4 times more than they normally do having this success. That's like Bidenomics for you there.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM, 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports. They're back.
New Brighton's annual Halloween parade is back this year by ghoulish demand. Make plans to come enjoy this spooky New Brighton tradition Wednesday, October 23rd, starting at 6:30 p.m. Legend says that this parade full of your favorite ghosts, ghouls, goblins, fire trucks, and bands started back in the 40s. If you would like to dress up in your favorite costume or have a group band or float and want to be in the parade, email nbparade@gmail.com. Beaver County Radio will broadcast the parade on Facebook Live so that family and friends around the world can be a part of this tradition. The parade features local bands and, of course, the best thing about Halloween, candy. Come out and enjoy the New Brighton Halloween Parade, 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, October 23rd, and have a ghoulish good time, if you dare. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, coming to you live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
Are you looking for a different kind of morning talk show? One that's in a town hall setting with politics, sports, and much more. Just not in that particular order. Then join Frank Sparks weekday mornings at 6:30 for Driving in the Fast Lane on WBVP.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. We're going to talk about sports here and sports-related topics here for the next 10 minutes. But there's something special I want to talk about. But before we get into that, we do have a caller. Anonymous Gambler, are you there?
Yeah, I'm calling about the WNBA possibly coming to Pittsburgh, and I have to say, there's nothing more I'd want to do on a Tuesday night than watch the WNBA while I gamble on it and watch a bunch of people that look like Marla Hooch from League of Their Own run up and down the court.
I'm glad you said Tuesday night because Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, I'm typically listening to WBVP 99.3. I typically listen to Thinking Logically on Mondays and Thursdays, and then I typically listen to my own show or do my own show on Wednesdays. So I'm glad you said Tuesday instead of the other nights.
That's the only day available. We got Friday night football, and then Saturday and Sunday we got stuff going on as well with sports, football, Steelers, and then you got your YouTube channel, I hear.
Yes.
Very nice. I checked it out last week.
Oh, well, we're going to get into that, but I want to know why you want to call, what you want to talk about. Then after we're done with that, I have some things I want to bring up with you specifically relating to that.
I just wanted to break the news about Deshaun Watson sexually assaulting another massage therapist. It hasn't happened yet, but you know it's going to happen now that he's not got much to do the next 9 months.
Right, he's going to be laying around in therapy. He better have all male therapists, or it's going to be more lawsuits.
He's going to wind up like the next Diddy. He's going to wind up like him.
They'll probably make a 30 for 30 about him, I'm sure.
Massage offs, like freak offs, but just with massages, apparently.
Speaking of Diddy, did you watch the NBA last night, the Lakers and Bronny James playing?
I did not.
You didn't miss anything.
A lot of nepotism. No, okay, good. A lot of nepotism with the Lakers and his son. Did his son get any playing time or no?
Okay, so with 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter, they put in Bronny James and LeBron James into the game. First play, LeBron James bricks a three-pointer. Let me just tell you, LeBron had 16 points on 16 shots. He made one shot outside of a layup all night. That's been his career for, I don't know, since like 2016. Very pathetic. He did make a pass to his son. His son was wide open for a three, and his son bricked it. So, no, LeBron's first assist to his son did not happen last night. But Bronny did play from 4 minutes left till about 1 minute left in the second quarter.
Oh, my God. Good for him. That's so awesome. I'm so proud because there's nothing else going on in the country right now. Just focus on LeBron James and his son. What a special, heartfelt story. Amazing.
His son should be playing at, like, Duquesne. Like, that's literally the level he should be playing.
The whole country is rallying around the Jameses right now and their struggles going in the, his first season in the NBA. We're just so worried about him. Oh, let me tell you.
Anything else there, Anonymous Gambler, before we get into what I really wanted to chit-chat with you about?
No, let's hear. What do you have for me? I'm nervous a little bit here.
No. This is not on the spot or anything, but I didn't want you to have a reaction before I brought it up. So basically, we know how Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, as well as other social media platforms, censored material in the 2020 election or leading up to the 2020 election, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we all know that is fact. You're called a crazy conspiracy theorist until Mark Zuckerberg literally came out and said, yes, I did that, and I'm not going to do that this election. So I have a YouTube page. Everybody, please go over to One Man's Opinion on Sports on YouTube. Click on it. Go to the first video. It is a video about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and their presence in Western Pennsylvania over the last couple weeks, right?
Yes.
Okay, they're both at the Acrisure Stadium, one there for the Cowboys game and one there for the Jets games. So what I did was I put out a pro-Elon Musk, pro-Donald Trump video yesterday morning at 8 a.m. on YouTube. They're thinking, what are we calling you? Thinking you, Anonymous Gambler Logically. Okay, So typically, when I first started YouTube, and I've only been doing YouTube for about 36 days now or so. By the way, I have over 100 subscribers, over 30,000 views. So thank you for everybody that's been tuning in. If you haven't, please go do that. Selfless plug there. But a bad video, like when I first started out, YouTube would like put it out there to like a few hundred people, then a few thousand people. And basically they would put it out to about 5,000 people minimum. Now, who watched that? That's up to the people, right? But they put it out to like 5,000 people on their page. I've had videos get put out to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 70,000, 100,000 people based on how they perform, right? So what YouTube does here is they take your video and they see if your subscribers watch the video. If they do, then they put it out to the public. Now, my worst video, my first video ever, got put out to 5,000 people. Yesterday at 8 a.m., I put out a video that 74 people have watched. Okay, I have 104 subscribers. That's huge. Okay, if you're around 20 to 30%, they're going to post it everywhere. I'm at over 70% of my subscribers watching the video. How many people do you think, now a bad video was 5,000, caller, how many people do you think YouTube pushed my pro-Trump, pro-Elon Musk video out to?
I'm gonna say 900. Can you get 900?
159.
Jeez.
I'm looking at it right now. 159. And that's why this is why I wanted you to stay on for like another 5 minutes or so, because I wanted you to comment on your thoughts of people talk about, oh, this was suppressed here, this was suppressed there. This actually just happened here in Western Pennsylvania. I'm a sports show. So in my video, right, I have Aaron Judge, Kamala Harris, Paul Skeens, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, the streaker Claudia Rose. I have Antonio Brown, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Jets. You couldn't name a better cast to have in a YouTube video, and YouTube didn't push it out to anybody.
Sounds like 2024, the movie. But I have to say, so you may not know this. A lot of people might not know this about me, but I've acquired enough political knowledge to both not only impress people, but actually worry people at social events and social conversations. But this has been going on for decades. That's how our country, that in general, you hear like China and name another authoritarian country. We'll just go with China. So their government censors YouTube or whatever their equivalent is over there, Facebook. They censor the internet. They censor stuff like that. Here in America, we have freedom. So our government can't really be the ones to censor us. So they have to depend on the social media companies, the YouTubes. And that's why these people that own these companies, run these companies, are millionaires and billionaires with all kind of power and influence, because they have to be, because they're doing the job for our government to keep us in check. Does that sound a little bit too crazy in conspiracy theory there? I could go into more detail.
Not to me at all. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. But when you follow the money, I am 1,000% a conspiracy theorist when I can follow the money and prove the point. When money's not involved, the aliens and the lizards and all that stuff, I don't know, the moon whole thing. But when you can follow the money, you know that it's happening. I mean, Kamala Harris, I put her in my video, and guess what she said? She said something about being in the middle class, growing up in the middle class. That was part of my video. And YouTube's not letting anybody see that.
Well, you're lucky you don't go to jail over it. But, again, Mark Zuckerberg, the 2020 election, he spent how much of his own money to, quote, fortify, secure the elections? Now, do you think he did that out of the goodness of his heart, or do you think he did that because he's controlled? And this is going to sound crazy to your audience, but for someone like me who's been on the Reddit boards and all those crazy stuff, I got a newsflash. Mark Zuckerberg didn't create Facebook. It was given to him. And you can look into the DARPA, and then LifeLog was what it was originally called. LifeLog got shut down, I think, February 2nd of 2004, and Facebook started up February 3rd, I believe, of 2004. So they took that DARPA project, which was LifeLog, gave it to Mark Zuckerberg, and gave him $1 billion, and then they have a billionaire with a lot of power that's basically like a little puppet. The world's a stage. So that's crazy, but this is why I escaped my life via gambling and the NFL, which is also probably fake and fixed.
Now, here's why. Okay, now we all know who the Rothschilds family is and how they kind of controlled the whole world. And back in the 1800s,
I just have to stop you. I just have real quick. Yes, the Rothschilds, but the people that control the world, we have no idea their names.
Correct. Yes. I agreed with that 110%. We'll never know who the actual people are because there's the faces that they put in front of them so that they'll go down if anything were to happen. But back in the 1800s, the Warburg died, okay? And at the time, he was supposedly the richest person in the United States. And what they found out was that 80% of what he owned, the Rothschilds actually owned. So people like J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Carnegie, they were all fronted the money from the Rothschilds. So basically what I'm saying and what you're, I think, saying is the Facebooks, the YouTubes, MSNBC, CNN, you name it, is all controlled by somebody else, right?
And then you have like the tier. Like when they do the media, they're controlled by the same 6 companies. We'll go above those next 6 companies, and what do you see there? And then to go above those companies. Same thing with Facebook, and then Twitter. That's why they were so mad when Elon Musk bought Twitter, because he did it right out in the open. They had no choice but to sell it, because if they didn't, people would be scratching their head and saying, "Wait a minute, it's a publicly traded company. Why would they not? It has investors. It has everyone. Who really owns Twitter?" And then, again, he didn't buy Twitter. What he bought was a crime scene. Just got to wait for all the information to come out.
Well, I'm on X. I'm on Twitter. One man's opinion on sports. Please check out the X account. Please check out the YouTube account. Please go watch my video. It's about literally the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets game, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cowboys games. But there were some star-studded cast people there, and that's all I did was put that out. And somehow YouTube is blocking it from going out. Any last words there, anonymous gambler, before we go to a hard break?
You said 75 people watched, and now only like 130 people watched. 75 were subscribers. The other 50 were probably FBI agents or CIA agents. So I'd watch your P's and Q's the next couple of weeks.
I'll watch out for that dark vehicle with the guys in the dark suits.
But no, real quick, what is your Twitter name so I can follow you?
I believe it is One Man's Opinion on Sports. I think is that what it is?
It's at one Man's Opinion.
Yeah, at One Man's Opinion on Sports. It's real tough to remember.
Okay, I'll have to follow you in case you get a weird follow from a guy named Joe, mask/vaccine abolitionist. That's me.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, everyone. We do have to go to break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the Steelers and all kinds of sports that are going on right now. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Zookie's Sports Tavern on Constitution Boulevard has the best wings and homemade sauces in Beaver County. Zookie's Sports Tavern is the perfect place to grab a bite to eat or a cold beverage before high school basketball games. Zookie's Sports Tavern has a heated and enclosed outside bar equipped with several big screen TVs and is the ideal place to watch all of your favorite sports. Don't forget to become a VIP for discounts and special offers at Zookies.com. That's Zookie's Sports Tavern on Constitution Boulevard.
Looking for that special home or wanting to sell yours? Let the Lisa Latham team, brokered by eXp Realty, help you. Hi, I'm Tank Latham, and our goal is to make you feel comfortable whether buying or selling. Lisa and I strive to make the process as smooth and as easy as possible. We invite you to visit the all-new eXp office located at 926 3rd Avenue, New Brighton. Give us a call at 724-307-5472. Check out Beaver County Home Inventory on our website, lisalatham.com. The Lisa Latham team, results that move you.
Get ready to kick off your game day with everything you'll need for tailgate parties from Fisher's Foodland in New Brighton. Party trays, snacks, beverages. If you're looking for food ideas to make your tailgate party unforgettable, Fisher's has it all. Fisher's Foodland is a complete independently owned and operated grocery store focused on your daily needs for the whole family. Remember, football season is a great reason to visit Fisher's Foodland in New Brighton.
You know, I've heard people refer to older veteran athletes as being all washed up. Well, quite frankly, that's a rather nice compliment if you ask me. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. When you hear something like that, you have to consider the source of the water, that is. After all, getting washed up with Beaver Falls Municipal Authority water can't be a bad thing. That's because for over 80 years, we've made it possible for everyone to feel washed up, even if they are not star athletes. Click bfwater.net.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. Make sure you go over to my YouTube page and watch the video titled Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Antonio Brown, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Claudia Rose, the streaker, the battleground. Please go watch that video. YouTube does not want you to see it. YouTube is stopping this from everyone seeing. Please go there, watch the video,
blow it up,
watch the whole thing, like it. If nothing happens after 48 hours, Ryan, I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the name. The pro-Trump, pro-Musk YouTube video, YouTube does not want you to see. I'm going to change the name.
There you go.
I am so angry, so fired up. I am, however, here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. Everyone, when you hear another voice that is not mine, it is typically Ryan. Check him out alongside co-host Mike Mueller every Monday through Friday on YouTube from 11 a.m. till noon. Search Two Dumb Yinzers. They talk Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and much, much more. Also, make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. I am so angry with YouTube right now. I'm so disgusted with them not... What? Seriously, put my video out. I know that's 13 days till the election. I know you want to have the control. I know you don't want Donald Trump in office, and I don't care who you vote for, but the fact that they are censoring things is just, it shows you what type of people are running this country.
Yeah, you're right. And I do want to say this, Brian. Brian mentioned the other voice on the air, and if you're hearing a third voice, you might want to go see somebody about that because there are...
Only if you answer the third voice. If you hear the third voice, you're not so bad. All right, let's get into sports. Everybody wants to hear about sports. They don't want to hear about my stupid YouTube's complaints. But please go over and just blow this whole thing up because YouTube, you're making a big mistake. YouTube's like Goliath, and I'm David, and I'm going to take you down one way or another from the inside.
Hey, whether you bring a slingshot, right?
Is that what he had, or did he just whip the rock? I don't remember how the story goes, but I know he hit him in the head with a rock and knocked him out.
I think it was a slingshot.
I'm going to do it non-violently because that's the way I like to do things.
You're right.
So, the injury report, Ryan, I was trying to look up the Steelers injury report. KZ's set to return, so our defensive backs look like they're getting healthier. However, Dante Jackson, who's been in and out of games, and, you know, I saw him last game. He didn't play, like, the whole game pretty much, but he did some goofy dance that I can't even do. Like, I'd have to stretch and do yoga for like a half an hour to warm up to do this dance he did. He did some celebration dance with somebody coming into the sidelines, but he can't play. What was up with that?
Well, he pulled something, didn't he? He pulled a hamstring. Watch
the dance on the sideline. I would pull 3 hamstrings doing that dance. Okay. I don't understand how he could do that dance, but he can't cover somebody. Yeah, I'll have to find that. We know that, let's see, who else? Zach Frazier's going to be out. He'll likely, hopefully, be back for the Redskins games, but Ryan McCollum's been doing great, but, you know, what if McCollum gets hurt? Then what are we down to? So let's try to get more healthy. Russell Wilson's going to play. His calf's been better. I was worried about him. Were you worried about his mobility with the calf and his age 57-year-old body?
Especially going from...
He got 10 years older than last time.
Especially going from Justin Fields, because a lot of people said, you know what, Justin Fields' ability, his athleticism was able to keep him out
I have 206 followers on X. I had 205 just before that last caller, by the way.
And people were, you know, they were just so used to Justin Fields being able to get out of the pocket. And then they would say, well, lucky we have his athleticism. He was able to do that. Yes, I was very surprised to see Russell.
I couldn't believe his escapability. Now, he He doesn't have that extra gear that Fields has. He had the quick 2 to 6 steps to get away from it.
Yeah.
After that, he's not going to turn on the jets and run. He's going to look for somebody downfield, whereas Fields could just turn on the jets and run for 20, 30, 40 yards.
Now, let me ask you this, Brian. A lot of talk going into the game was Russell Wilson historically, he holds the ball long. I think he holds the ball longest out of all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Did you see that in this past game? Did he speed up his progressions, or was that a part of it all? I didn't really notice.
There was a stat, and I don't know if it was like at halftime or when it was, but they had shown that Aaron Rodgers was getting the ball out in like 2.2 seconds or 2.3 seconds. Russell Wilson was like 3.3 seconds, so it was extra second longer, which I think is more normal. I think the 2 point whatever was very fast.
Rodgers gets it out quick.
God, did he stink. And I didn't yell at the screen, throw the ball. And when he did hold on to it long enough, he was either throwing it into the dirt, throwing it out of bounds, or, at least getting back to the line of scrimmage.
He did. I tell you what, he really did everything that he was supposed to do. I mean, that's what you wanted to see from Russell Wilson. So, I mean, it leaves a bigger question mark now. What are we going to do moving forward? So it's let's see how this Giants game plays out. Then we have a bye week. The games get a lot harder after that. So we'll learn a lot about this team in the second half of the season.
One thing that is happening with athletes these days is they're entitled. Okay, they're given things before they've earned it, right?
Yes.
That was the big what's his name? Who was the defensive tackle, the undersized defensive tackle that played for the Steelers with Casey Hampton, his backup, little guy.
Chris Hoke.
Hoke. Yeah, he said that Broderick Jones came into camp like he was entitled to something.
Yes, right.
And he's like, you didn't earn anything, and you're going through the motions, and that's why you got beat out by a rookie. And then, luckily for Jones, that Fatanu went out for the year. But Russell Wilson, the only person that gave him anything was Mike Tomlin. If you listen to the game, when Russell Wilson and the offense was struggling, I think they went down and kicked a field goal, then they had 3 3-and-outs. And the boos.
Yes, it was loud.
70,000 boos.
Yeah.
Chanting, Justin Fields. Russell Wilson earned over the fans. He did.
I know.
They wanted him to fail. They wanted Justin Fields in there. They knew Russell Wilson stunk. They said he was too small. He couldn't see over the offensive line. I don't know where they heard that before. And they wanted him to fail, and they wanted Justin Fields to go in there and save the game.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson said, And each pass and each drive and each throw, he gained over every fan. And I'm assuming maybe he had the locker room, maybe he didn't, but at least from the fan perspective, he earned the fact that he's our number one quarterback.
Listen, Brian,
in a half a game.
You nailed it perfectly. You take 70,000 people booing you. They want you gone. They want you out of there. And in that game, keep the mental toughness to turn it around and take this game the total opposite way, to take 70,000 people who just wanted you gone to now be the biggest Russell Wilson supporters around. It's truly amazing what he was able to accomplish. And is that what we're getting from a veteran quarterback, a guy that played in Super Bowls, a guy that will more than likely be a Hall of Famer? This guy, he just has it from the neck up. And a lot of times that's what it takes to win, is that neck up. Tom Brady was never the biggest, fastest, strongest guy. He had it from the neck up. Some guys have it, some guys don't. Does he fall in that category for you? Or do you think that, Brian, that there will be struggles along the way? And of course there's going to be struggles. It's football. But do you think that's going to change? Or do you think Russell's going to be able to ride this thing out and we're all still going to love him at the end of the football season?
What are we, 5-2?
Yes.
How many games do we have left?
11 games. 10 games.
5-2. 10 games, yes. So if we go 5-5 and we're 10-7 and we get into the playoffs and we get crushed, I think everybody will look back and say Russell Wilson wasn't the answer, blah, 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 blah. Mike Tomlin, he just wants to win, half of his games. But if we do better than 5-5 and we go on to win a playoff game, I think people will want Russell Wilson back next year.
Absolutely. I don't really...
At age 58 at that point.
Yeah, you're right. But no, you're probably 100% right. Obviously, you want that guy who's going to be your next Ben. it's going to be very difficult to get that guy. So right now, I say we ride these two. And we're fortunate, Brian, because you do have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who was pretty good as well. So, we have a good problem. But ultimately, you want your guy. You want your Ben. You want your Brady. You want your Mahomes. He's not either of these guys. So we'll continue to look for him. But until that, Brian, we still have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
If you look at the preseason rankings for quarterbacks, I want to say Russell Wilson was in like the 20s out of 32.
Okay.
And number 33 was Justin Fields. He was the number one backup according to whatever rankings you want to, and he did a great job.
4-2, I think he still is 5-1. Yes.
If TJ Watt would have done something on that 4th and goal, or Cam Hayward would have, the guys that you pay, if one of them would have done something to stop and put some pressure on Dak Prescott, maybe he doesn't make that perfect pass to the sideline or to the end zone there. Maybe we're 6-1. But I'm going to play devil's advocate, because Russell Wilson gained over the crowd, gained over the fans, gained over the team, won the game, won it convincingly. But here's the devil's advocate. The New York Jets defensive backs were like their practice squad team.
With the exception of Sauce Gardner, I agree.
Yeah, but didn't he get hurt like a couple times throughout the game? Like he was in and out, in and out?
Yeah, he was. But you still have that player. I'll always give Sauce that.
Right. So it was Sauce and a bunch of terrible people. So he challenged Sauce a couple times, obviously.
Absolutely.
But here's my other devil's advocate thing, because George Pickens, 2 weeks ago, he put the eye black on.
Yeah.
That said, what? I'm always effing open.
Yes.
And he's never once been open, I don't think, ever in his career, has he?
You don't want him to be open. It seems like he makes the catches whenever he's tightly covered and, in a situation that's difficult. You don't really ever see George Pickens wildly wide open.
I've never seen him even a half a step away from the defender. I don't understand this. I've never seen this. I want to get into this more after the break, but I've never seen a wide receiver actively try to not get open but still want the ball every time.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that and more when we come back from the break. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Hi, I'm Rob Matzey. It's been my honor to represent you in Harrisburg. Now, I know the last few years haven't been easy. Folks are working too hard for too little, and politicians just point fingers instead of solving problems. I stay focused on helping you, investing millions here to create good jobs and raise wages, leading the fight against big corporations to eliminate junk fees and fighting tax increases. And I'm looking after those who looked after us, lowering the cost of prescriptions and investigating mistreatment in nursing homes. I'm proud to be endorsed by organized labor, police and firefighters, Governor Shapiro, and folks from both parties. I've avoided the drama in Harrisburg and stayed focused on delivering for Beaver County. I'm Rob Matzey, and I'd be humbled to continue working for you.
Paid for by people from Matzey. They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
All right, everyone, welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I'm fired up today. I've got a beef with YouTube. Yes, a huge beef with YouTube censoring anything political posted on their site and censoring it. It's a bunch of garbage. There are 13 days to the election, Ryan. Of course, Ryan Garazunas across from me. You know what I'm doing, Ryan, on Monday? Not this Monday, but the Monday before the election.
What's that, man?
I am driving down to Morgantown, West Virginia to pick up my daughter after school. We are going to go to Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get the Frisco Melt.
Yes.
Yes, it's the most delicious sandwich ever. And I'll probably get an extra Frisco Melt sandwich. And I'm going to get the banana and chocolate milkshake.
I am literally jealous of you. I really am. We had the Steak and Shake up here in Monaca for many years. The Frisco Melt, I believe, was a number 5 on the menu. Was my favorite, hands down. And then they also did have that double garlic burger. Great stuff, man. Love.
Well, we're going to do that, and then she's going to come back, and she's going to pack up like her sweaters and sweatshirts and, pants, winter gear, to take back down to college. Then Tuesday morning, Ryan, guess what we're going to both go do?
Vote.
We are going to go vote. Everyone, get out there and vote. I know in past elections, the other team has rigged the vote. I'm not saying both teams don't rig the vote because I'm sure they both cheat in one way or another, but one team has cheated more than the other. So make sure you go out and vote. But yes, I'm taking my daughter. She's 18, so she'll be voting for the first time. She said she's nervous. I'm like, it is really not a big deal.
I mean, I remember my first time. Once you get in there, you realize how it's really nothing. You go in, you stand there for 30 seconds, you push a couple buttons, and you leave. And then you're like, oh, that's all it was.
The last few times I voted, and I voted in all the primaries and whatnot, even though I'm not, you guys could probably guess what affiliation I am, but I'm not either affiliation. I'm actually a libertarian. And so I register as another affiliation so that I can vote in their primaries, basically. That's the only reason otherwise, I wouldn't even register like that. But we're going to go in, we're going to vote, and the voting down there has been with like a pen. Like you fill it in like a test in high school, like multiple choice test.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been paper, and then the paper goes into like some machine, and then it reads what you wrote, and it either shreds what you did or it multiplies it by 10, depending on who you picked.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
listen, I have one more show to talk about the election. Then the show after that, we're going to be talking about maybe the results from the election because it could get delayed for a couple weeks.
Yeah, it sure can. As a matter of fact, I would almost guarantee that we're going to see something bizarre.
Listen, we're going to talk sports plenty, so don't go anywhere. But the election's just right around the corner, so we are going to hit on that this week and next week a good bit. And then we'll either be happy the following Wednesday or we're going to be miserable because we have to pay $50,000 a year for our kid to go to college, and we want to be able to afford that. So depending on who the president is, that has a lot to do with it, unfortunately. Depends on, isn't that sad that one person or two people or a group of people control that much of the economy?
Yeah, and you just... yes, I mean, this is obviously these are longer answers and things. Yeah,
we're trying to keep it very surface. We're not going down to the deep depths and going into everything.
You know what you don't see too much anymore is that successful third-party runner, the Ross Perot.
Ross Perot was big. You were probably, I want to say, in 4th grade when he ran. I think I was in 6th.
Was it that early on?
I think so.
1992. I think Perot was the.
George, then I would have been in 8th grade, and you would have been in 6th.
Yeah, that seems more right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're good looking. Maybe I'm ugly. Maybe you're smart. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe you're rich, and maybe I'm poor.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the Steelers. Russell Wilson into the save the day. And I've kind of been saving this because it was brought up on The Two Dumb Yinzers. You can check them out on YouTube every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till noon.
Speaking of good looking, that one guy certainly is.
Yeah, the bald guy. He is smoking hot. So it was brought up on their show randomly, and I have no idea where it came out of, but they were talking about TJ Watt and how maybe TJ Watt is really good, and if he has a terrible game, we should make up any excuse we want to hide the fact that he had a terrible game by saying, well, they put 2 people on him, they chipped him, and TJ Watt had a pathetic, miserable, absolutely abysmal game. And you know what? The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't even need him. That's how good the rest of the team was. They did not need their best player. And yes, I said he's their best player. They did not need their best player to demolish the terrible New York Jets. They just didn't need him.
I mean, I agree 100%. I obviously was the other half that had the opposing opinion on this, but I think
the good-looking half.
Yes, but he is part of our defense. It's a team game. There's 11 guys, and I wouldn't not want TJ out there. I wouldn't not want Minka, Landon Roberts. It's a squad, and you know what? This is a dang good squad. Some days TJ is going to get a couple sacks. Other days he's not. I got to say that I'm very impressed with what this defense is able to do. With the exception of the 2 games that we lost, we haven't let a team score 20 points or more. So as a whole, I think that this defense is looking pretty good, to be honest with you. Is TJ going to get 2 to 3 sacks every game? No, he's not. But he is part of that team, and I would not want him there at this point.
Let me ask you a couple questions, because I love to play devil's advocate when it comes to TJ Watt. He is everybody's favorite player, and I hate to bring race up, but the fact that he's white is a big reason why Western Pennsylvania loves him. It's a white guy that's good, and for whatever reason, Western Pennsylvania loves it, and I don't see color. I couldn't care less what color you are. I don't care if you're orange and you're running for president. Doesn't matter to me what color you are. But TJ Watt is the fan favorite by far and away, and if you say anything bad against him, I mean, you just they throw stones at you.
I don't know. I've heard the argument that you're making. I don't know how much that I buy into it. Again, I know that a lot of people right now like either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, which would kind of blow that argument out of the water. But I listen, there's a certain excitement that goes along with watching TJ when he gets a sack. A sack is a big part of a game. This is a defensive town. People always love defense in Pittsburgh, and this guy has more sacks than anybody else. Does he dictate a game the way that some people would hope that he does? I don't think that he does. But there's a lot of times when he does get back and he makes a sack. And again, more than anybody else, certainly that's playing in this era. So for those reasons, he gets excited. He does a kick. He slams his foot. I think those are exciting things for people. And when you're watching your team, that gives you more reason to like the guy. I don't know. And I'm sure there's some people that do fall along the lines of what you said in the initial part of your statement, but he's
it's sad, but it's
sad, and
it's true.
And I don't look at things that way either. But I do think that people truly do like him. He's a fun person to watch. He's excitable. He's the leader of the defense, and I think a lot of people like him because he's a good football player.
All right, so my 2 favorite players on the team are Minkah Fitzpatrick and Najee Harris. Najee's really been stepping up these last 2 weeks.
I love Najee.
Minkah, he's not playing bad, but I don't know. I want to see more out of Minkah.
Yeah.
But let's stay with the TJ Watt thing here real quick. Once again, is there more to the game than a sack?
Yes, there's a lot more to the game.
So if he gets 17 sacks a year, he's going to go down in the history of the NFL as the greatest sack person ever.
So he's going down in the history as the greatest sack person ever. However, the running back, we're satisfied with him not being the best running back. We're satisfied with him not breaking the game wide open. We're satisfied with him not getting all the numbers because he's doing a pretty good job. What is it that people have against TJ is what I'm wondering, because he does do those things. He does do things that people's never done before, and he has more sacks than anybody else. So why do these 2 guys, are they on a different playing field? One guy's doing amazing, but he's not breaking records. The other guy's breaking records, but we're looking at him like, oh, is he really that good?
Okay, so the one guy's the highest paid player on the team, and the other guy can't even get his 5th-year option. So that's for starters.
I think you can make that argument for plenty of people, not just Najee. I think that you take any player, you could make this argument.
Am I saying Najee Harris is as good as TJ Watt? No, not at all. But what I'm saying is that one play a game doesn't mean anything. Now, if it's the play to win the game or lose the game, okay, it means a lot. You could be the quarterback that, first and goal to 5.
Can I ask you one question? Would you say that he played a good game last week when he punched the ball out 2 times and caused 2 fumbles? Would you say
no? He stunk, and he had 2 amazing plays. Okay. He stunk the rest of the game. Absolutely stunk.
So game-changing plays doesn't mean anything as long as he should be playing 110%, making big plays every play of the game, which is impossible, obviously.
He was not in position to make either tackle and did the smart thing and punched the ball out.
Yeah.
but he was not even in position to make a tackle.
Okay.
So he was not even in the play properly and made up for it by punching the ball because somebody, I don't know, 2 years ago told him to punch the ball.
Which is something that somebody's really good knows how to do. If they are not in a play, you punch the ball, you make another play, right? I think that's a good play, obviously.
I said it was 2 amazing plays.
But
the rest of the game, when he runs around like he has a turd coming out of his butt, like that's what I need. That's what I need you guys to watch because because there's 50 some plays on defense because he makes 2 good plays. I'm not expecting him to make 50 good plays because it's 11 on 11. But when he makes 2 good plays out of 50 some a week, and this past week he made 1 good play? He knocked the ball down.
I don't even remember any big plays this week.
He had a pass. It was like a screen pass, and he jumped up and he knocked it down. That was a good play. And he had a half a tackle. People keep saying he had a tackle. He didn't have a tackle. It was not even his tackle. It was the safety came up and tackled the running back in the backfield, and he got one of those Hampton or Hayward, Cam Hayward. I don't know why I wanted to say Hampton. Cam Hayward tackles where he fell on and got a half a tackle. But my point is he played a pathetic game, and people are like, well, he was chipped. Oh, he was double teamed sometimes. Well, forgive me if I'm wrong, but doesn't he have 100 and some sacks with teams doing that? Right? This isn't the first time teams have done that.
Right, absolutely.
So how can he get to the quarterback all those other times, but he wasn't even around Aaron Rodgers the entire game?
Oh, no, it's a good quarter. And Aaron Rodgers, he was able to, we said earlier in the show, he did get the ball out pretty quickly. Maybe that could be it. Again, I'm going to have to go back. I only watched it once this week. Usually I get the game in a couple times and we'll check it out. Maybe I'll go back.
I watched it twice.
Did you? I mean,
and Watt got double teamed a decent bit. Like, okay. I'm not, this is one of the games where I've seen him double team. Actually double teamed. Because here's what I think. Those what was it, the Football Focus? What's it called?
PFF, yeah.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus. They're like, oh, he was double teamed. And I watched the plays that they're talking about, and it's like the right tackle is blocking him, and the right guard's kind of like standing somewhere waiting for somebody to block.
Right.
And I think that they count that as a double team, and it's not.
Right.
Where like the defensive tackle could break away from his guy and they might pick him up. Or if Watts gets around, they might go pick him up. But he's not actually double teamed. And I think they count that a lot. I do want to get into the final segment. I want to talk about the upcoming game with the Giants. But I do want to get into some different sports next segment other than just the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
real quick before we go then, let me ask you one more question. So today you had DeAndre Hopkins going to the Chiefs. Last week you had Adams going to the Jets, and you also had Amari Cooper going to the Bills. At any point, does the Pittsburgh Steelers make a move to get a number 2 receiver? Here we are. We're going to that. We're going to be at the halfway point here in another week. We still haven't addressed the number 2 position. Do they go after Cooper Kupp? Do they go after one of these other guys at any point, or does Omar Khan and company let this thing play out, which I think would be extremely dumb? Yes, things are working. Yes, we're 5-2. But at the end of the day, how much better could we be if we had somebody opposite side George Pickens?
I'm trying to find the date that we picked up our number 2 receiver. Jefferson.
Van. Which, don't get me wrong, I like Van Jefferson a lot more now than I did. He scored a touchdown, then I see him.
He should have had 2. He was tripped. He literally was tripped, and they didn't throw the flag. They should have had the ball with 1st and goal at the 1 at least.
Guy, listen, I'm going to put it this way. Van Jefferson, he hasn't proved to be a playmaker.
March 18th is when the Steelers picked up their number 2 receiver.
The guy is not a playmaker. You want somebody on the other side of the ball
that
could
a playmaker.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen it even in Los Angeles when they won the Super Bowl. I didn't think he was that great of a player then, so that is our number 2 guy.
Well, we're going to talk about different sports. Apparently, we're going to talk about that when we come back. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, brought to you live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
Tune in to Driving in the Fast Lane with Frank Sparks on 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Frank will talk about what's happening in the news, locally, regionally, and nationally. There's also music to get you started for the day, and Curtis Walsh will have the news. The show is brought to you by Patriot Home Care, so set your radio dial to 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. We're streamed live on BeaverCountyRadio.com, so you can listen every morning on Beaver County Radio.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
Well, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey!
Was that
it's
Barney?
a sunny day here in San Francisco. The weather outside is great. You just heard the Beach Boys. Or Sublime. I don't know what they listen to in Southern California. All right, everyone. Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. Give us a call at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. There is one thing I want to promote that's going on tonight. There's a parade or something, right? Tell everybody about it, Ryan.
Yes, the New Brighton Parade. I do believe it starts here at 6:30. So if you are going to tune in to watch the Coach's Corner, it is only going to be on the radio tonight. If you tune into our Facebook or our YouTube pages, it will be covering the New Brighton Parade.
Is this like a Halloween parade?
I believe so, yes.
Or is this a Donald Trump, Kamala Harris parade? I don't know. I was just asking.
No, it's the fall-time parade.
The fall-time parade. Yeah. Is Frank dressing up as, who was he? He was, what's the rapper's name? With the tattoos?
Yeah, who is that guy? Post Malone or
yeah,
Joey
it was Frank Malone.
Frank Malone.
It was scary. I saw it on Facebook, and I literally was disturbed. I couldn't eat for about 24 hours, Frank. Thank you very much.
What is the... Yeah.
He had the face tattoos. I was like, oh, my God, yikes.
Would you listen, if you were rich and it never mattered anymore in your whole entire life what it was that you had to do, you didn't have to work, you didn't have to... you were your own guy. Would you get face tattoos?
No,
I wouldn't do that.
I have zero tattoos. I think tattoos are wonderful. Tattoos are like wives. Okay, I love them with other people.
Yeah.
Okay, you're married. You're happy. God bless you.
Right.
I don't want that. You have a tattoo. You have a leg sleeve. You have an arm sleeve. You have a neck tattoo. God bless you. You look great. Just not for me. It's just not for me. I think some people look absolutely fantastic with tattoos, and then there's like the other 99% that have the ugliest tattoos I've ever seen in my life, and I'm like, wow, that's permanent, and that looks really bad. It's like, if you wore like a really bad outfit, like my mom used to dress me up to go to like weddings and events like that. And I had this red blazer and I looked like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that's what my mom dressed me up in. But I could change that.
Well, because you were 30 years old. Of course you could change that.
Yes. I was Dale and what's
Step Brothers.
Yes. Dale and Nighthawk and Brendan.
Brennan. Yeah.
Yes. So last week my mom had me in this used car salesman. But yeah, like the tattoo, like the one tattoo that drives me crazy, and this is for females only because I don't know, if you're a dude and you have this tattoo, like the upper thigh tattoo. They get like these tattoos. Now there's these girls that get like words on the side of the tattoo and it's like, it's kind of hot and you're like, that's kind of cute and whatever. And then there's these girls that get these blobs on their entire thigh.
Yeah.
And it's all like blue and red. And I'm like, you can't cover that up, honey. And your thighs are only getting bigger.
Yeah. It's always at these weird, not unproportionate, it's real big and blobby, and there's nothing else done on the leg. It just looks super out of place because, again, there's this big colored drawing on you where everywhere else on your leg there's not. Listen, I'm okay with the two. Whatever people want to do is fine. It's the face, Brian. That's the one I just can't ever understand how people would get to that point where they would say, you know what, I'm going to get this on my face.
So I was at Twin Peaks earlier today, and I was making my notes for the show, and there's... 1, 2, 3. There's about 5 girls working there, and they have tattoos in special spots that are visible. They are on the middle of the body, right next to where the heart would be.
Okay.
In between a couple things.
Yeah.
And that's cute. but it was like little words or like little like Japanese or something. It's like I don't even know what it is because I'm not going to stand there and look at somebody like that because I'm going to look at their face and order my food looking in their eyes. I'm not going to look.
Yes,
I'm not going to look at their heart.
Right.
And whatever. But yeah, so like those are all right. But I don't know the whole face. I don't get it. Oh, Claudia Rose, the streaker, the clothes streaker. She's not a streaker. I don't know why we call it streaker, but that's what she is. She streaks the field fully clothed. Well, I mean, that top, I don't know how that top held her situations in. But Claudia Rose on Instagram, the last I checked, she's up like 12,000 subscribers or viewers or whatever you want to call it on there. But she has a face tattoo on her cheek.
Really?
Do you know why she got this face tattoo?
Oh, is it Trump?
It was in my video. If you watch my YouTube video that YouTube is not putting out, there's still they've shown 159 people this.
And that is how I know from your video.
Okay. So yeah, you'll learn things. My sister, she doesn't really like sports or whatever, but I sent the video out to the family group chat and my sister sends me a message. Oh, I didn't know she was an Instagram model. So she learned something. You can learn from my YouTube channel and my posts. So Claudia Rose, she went to the polling station. And if you go to the polling station, you're not allowed to have like a sign or anything that shows a support for any particular candidate, whether it's local or regional.
Normal people?
Anyone. Like
really?
Within like 100 feet of the door, you're not allowed to have.
So if I go to
anything.
vote in 2 weeks and I have a sign that says one of the candidates' name on my shirt,
correct.
You're not
they
allowed
will
to...
not let you within 100 feet of the door. Now, if you have like a sign and like, let's just say, Mitt Romney was running back in 2012.
Right.
Well, what a pathetic candidate that was. But his sign that they put as you walk up to the ballots has to be so many feet away. And the first sign is like within an inch of that distance.
Yeah.
And then the signs are after that. So she was going in to vote, and the guy she was with, big guy, he had like the leg tattoo, the arm tattoos, whatever. And it must have said something about Trump or something on it. And they wouldn't let him go vote because his tattoos needed to be covered up to go vote. So what she did was she went, and I think this is her first surgery. Tongue in cheek. This might be her first surgery. She didn't have surgery on her backside. I can promise you that. And she didn't have surgery definitely on her front side. I can tell you that. But she did have MAGA, Make America Great Again, MAGA put on her cheek just so that she could go vote and display that.
And that was her reasoning for it?
That was her. I watched like a 5-minute Instagram clip on it. I watched it probably 10 times just so that listen, sometimes the bulbs on the Christmas tree aren't as bright as they should be. So it was tough to get through the whole reasoning behind it, but that was what I gathered from it.
Okay. That's
so
interesting.
The streaker has a MAGA tattoo on her cheek. It's very inconspicuous. It just says MAGA. And I guess she got it so that she could go to polling areas, not covered up, and still show her support.
Yeah, that's crafty. I mean,
I could think of 2 other places she should have gotten it, but that's just me.
Well, if you're trying to, yeah, for sure.
The way she wears clothes, Ryan, the way she wears clothes.
No,
it's not the way you or I wear clothes. At all. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. All right, listen, we have a couple minutes left before we go to break, and I want to get into Major League Baseball. The New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is Aaron Judge versus Yohei Ohtani in the World Series. That starts Friday night. It is a 7-game series. Ryan, will you watch any of the games?
No. Well,
let me ask you why, because I'd like to answer my own question after you're done.
Yes. Well, Friday night I'll be here doing high school football, so I won't catch that.
Can't wait till I go to high school.
But there are...
What game's on Friday night here?
It's a big one between Avonworth and Beaver, actually. It's the last regular season game of the year here on WBVP. You might want to check that out. But yes, I won't be catching that
and then
one.
What, you'll just have playoffs?
Playoffs? Yes. But I won't be watching much. I'll be keeping up with it, but I'm going to be honest with you, Brian. I didn't watch much of the first 3 rounds either, so nothing against these 2 teams.
Can I ask you why you don't watch baseball?
It's football season.
Okay, fair enough. Can I ask why you didn't watch baseball during baseball season and football wasn't in?
I did. I watched the Pirates all season long. I
Okay,
mean,
so you're like a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. You're not a Major League Baseball fan. Would that be fair? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I specifically like our Pittsburgh teams better than everybody else, yes. I could say that. But I'm a sports fan. I like baseball, like football, like basketball, like hockey. But, if it's not a Pittsburgh team, I'm not as interested.
Right. Okay. Here's why I won't watch. Major League Baseball's stupid. It's idiotic. I posted something, and I want to say I posted it on X, One Man's Opinion on Sports on X. I posted the owners of the NFL's net worth. And it went from like the Walton family with the Broncos. Yeah. They were like they're like $70 billion. And you know who the second least richest owner is?
Who's that?
I don't know if I said that right. The Bengals are the I don't even think they're billionaires. I want to say they're like 140 millionaires.
Wow.
And then the Rooneys are like 1 point something billionaires.
Like Jerry Seinfeld himself has more money than the Cincinnati Bengals owners.
Yes, I think so.
Wild.
Like, honestly, I mean, that could be, it's close any which way.
Right.
But just imagine if the NFL was designed like Major League Baseball, where the Broncos and the Cowboys and, New York, Chicago, major cities all had this money. And then a team like the Steelers, basically we were getting guys off waiver wires and we can maybe afford one Brian Reynolds like player. Like our best player was Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any good offensive players and no other good defensive players. Like how bad would that be? This is why I won't watch the Major League Baseball World Series.
Because that's the most money paid out between those two teams?
Well, the Dodgers are actually the third highest paid, and the Yankees are the second highest paid. The Mets, who were the last team eliminated, were the highest paid. But I think the Mets are paying like something like $50 or $100 million to like people that aren't even playing on their team.
Exactly, yes.
So technically, I think it is the highest National League team versus the highest American League team in the World Series playing each other. And then you have teams like the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. I think their payrolls are right around $900 million.
Yeah.
And we're at 82.
No, for that reason and that reason alone, baseball it stinks because you're basically eliminating everybody who doesn't spend top money. So what are all these other teams in the league doing besides getting beat on by the good teams and not making the playoffs? How is that exciting, Brian? I would love to see that change in baseball one day.
That and the other thing is everybody swings for home runs, and occasionally they happen. They're like, wow, it's a home run. And I'm like, yeah, but there's been no base hits all game. Right. There's been no balls put in play. It's so boring. And, we'll deal with that come spring after, the Super Bowl. We'll probably get into how much baseball sucks and why being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan is only going to get more miserable.
And especially now, I saw something, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else, but they had a video about no free agents going to want to come to play here anymore after the situation with Rowdy Tellez's past year after cutting him for a bat.
I don't think free agents really care about Rowdy Tellez, but
yeah,
the way
absolutely.
It was handled. Yeah. Oh, 4 bats short. Okay, we're going to save $200,000.
Why would you want to come here? Why would you want to come play for a team that does that?
The PR hit is worse than the $200,000 they would have paid or whatever it was.
Absolutely.
All right, listen, we're going to get into the Steelers versus the Giants when we come back. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
And sometimes you lose, but the game of life is a lot easier to play when you're insured with the best. More than 117 years has proven the Henderson Agency in Aliquippa knows what it takes to provide their customers with the best insurance for their needs. Auto, home, motorcycle, boat, or business. They pride themselves on good, old-fashioned friendly service and represent several insurance companies, including Progressive, National General, an Allstate company, and Mutual Benefit. The Henderson Agency, Aliquippa.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
Get ready to kick off your game day with everything you'll need for tailgate parties from Fisher's Foodland in New Brighton. Party trays, snacks, beverages. If you're looking for food ideas to make your tailgate party unforgettable, Fisher's has it all. Fisher's Foodland is a complete independently owned and operated grocery store focused on your daily needs for the whole family. Remember, football season is a great reason to visit Fisher's Foodland in New Brighton.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Brian Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Brian Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. You can check him out alongside co-host Mike Mueller every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till noon on YouTube. Search Two Dumb Yinzers. That's D-U-M. Two Dumb Yinzers. They talk Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and much, much more. Also, make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Also, make sure you go out to One Man's Opinion on Sports YouTube page. I have a pro Donald Trump, pro Elon Musk sports video. It's literally like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. YouTube refuses to show it to anyone. It is the video YouTube does not want you to see 13 days before the election. I've had it up to here with them. It's a big sham. Anyway, go check that out. And SCREW YouTube. Anyway, Ryan, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the New York Football Giants on Monday Night Football.
If it wasn't for the Patriots, this could be the worst team in the league, yes.
Before we talk about that, I do want to talk about one thing that happened last night real quick because we didn't talk about it this hour. Last night, history was made. At approximately 11 p.m. at night, the first father-son NBA basketball players played together. With 4 minutes left in the second quarter of the Los Angeles Lakers game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, checking in from the bench was LeBron James back into the game and his son, Bronny James. In my opinion, this is the most embarrassing moment in sports history, at least in the United States. There's a kid that should maybe be playing for the Duquesne Dukes. Maybe. And he's paraded out as an NBA player just so that his dad could live his dream and his dad's ego could survive. And it's really sad that everyone is talking this up as if it's something big. Basically went out and LeBron James bricked up every shot, threw a pass to his son, and his son still bricked the only shot that he had. A pass from his dad for three and bricked it. And then also Bronny missed a layup. So Bronny was 0 for 2 in his debut. He played for 3 minutes. And that's all I really have to say about that. It was just really sad to see that somebody that doesn't deserve something was giving a chance and everybody pretended like it actually was a good thing. So this Monday, the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New York Football Giants this Sunday. The New York Football Giants absolutely stink. The Steelers are on a 2-game winning streak after losing that last play, basically 4th and goal from inside the 5. Dak Prescott throws a pass, and the Steelers end up losing that game. The Steelers are 5-2. And the New York Football Giants are what? Like, what are they? Like 2 wins, 1 win? What are they, Ryan?
I think they have 1 win. I could double check.
Who's their quarterback? Jones?
Yeah.
Dr. Jones.
Danny Dimes.
He is so bad. Didn't they give him like a huge contract?
Yes.
They're paying him like $50 million a year, and we're paying our quarterbacks like $20 each.
Yeah, they're really bad. I mean, they're the few... The few pieces of light that they did have, rays of light, would be Saquon Barkley, who went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And he came back.
Didn't he play there the other night?
He came back and he destroyed the Giants. They have nothing good going on up there. If I was a gambling man, I would certainly bet on our Pittsburgh Steelers. But this is a really, really rough team, man.
So supposedly Dante Jackson did not practice today, and his backup is Brian St. Pierre. Do you remember him? He used to hold the clipboard for Ben in his younger years.
Out of Boston College, absolutely.
Brian St. Pierre. He was the best backup quarterback in the Steelers' history. I don't think he ever got in for an important snap. He might have got in to like kneel the ball or hand it off and like clean up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian St. Pierre or James Pierre, one of the two, is going to be our number 2 cornerback. I'm glad this isn't against the Jets because the Jets had a formidable quarterback and 3 or 4 really good wide receivers.
Absolutely.
And the Giants, what the heck do the Giants have?
They don't. They really don't have much, Brian. I got to tell you, it's if you're a Steelers fan, listen. And there's going to be it's Monday night. It's going to be color rush uniforms. It's going to be fireworks in the air. If you're a Steeler fan and you love watching your Steelers like you did this past weekend, I think you're going to get another taste of that this weekend.
So, is there any way possible that the Pittsburgh Steelers lose this game, Ryan?
I think anything is possible.
Right.
But realistically, if I gambled, I would put my money on the Steelers in this one, being one of the only few games this year. Of course, you get a lot of good teams later on down the road. And again, this should be the last one that we thoroughly get to enjoy as we did this past Sunday, because we're going to run into some really, really tough teams moving past the break.
Yeah. Now, what's the schedule looking like after the break? I know we have supposedly a layup on the road in Washington versus the Redskins, but it turns out they're for real. I know the Ravens beat them.
Yes.
But outside of the Ravens beating them, I mean, they've been pretty much unstoppable.
Absolutely. And that is the game right after Washington. After we come back from the break, we get the Commanders, and then we get the Ravens.
And then we have 3 division games, right? We play the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. I'm not quite sure of the order. I know it's Washington. Then do we get Baltimore at home?
Baltimore is at home, and then the 2 Ohio games are on the road. We
play Cleveland and Cincinnati.
Let me double check that.
Yeah, look that up. Is there any way the Giants bring back like Jeff Hostetler and can win this game, or what?
I would like our chances if they did. Of course, he would be a little bit older now, but I think we're going to see Danny Dimes. I think you're going to see the same.
He's so bad.
I know.
I can't wait to I have like one New York Giants fan buddy, and I can't wait to just murder him all game long on social media.
I can't believe there's anybody that still likes the Giants after all these years.
He's from New York. He likes the Yankees and the Giants, and he likes the Steelers and the Pirates. I don't know.
That's an interesting
tell me about it.
Okay, so this is how it's going to play out, Brian. We do have the Giants, of course. Everybody knows that.
And then we have a bye. So we have the Giants on Monday Night Football. Then we have a nice bye week.
Then we go to Washington. Mm-hmm. Then the Ravens will come here, and then Cleveland on the road, Cincy on the road, Cleveland at home. So there's 4 division games in a row. After that, we go to Philly, we go to Baltimore, and then we finish up with 2 home games, one against the Chiefs on Christmas, and then the other one against the Bengals on January 5th.
So let's get the 6-2. Then we go to Washington, Baltimore at home, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati, at home versus Cleveland.
Yes.
Let's just get through that. That sounds like, if you throw the Giants in there, that sounds like 3 or 4 wins easy to me. You should beat the Browns twice. You should beat either the Ravens or the Bengals. I don't think you're going to beat both. And you should beat the Giants. Maybe you beat the Redskins too, but I don't think so.
This brutal second half of the schedule. I mean, now that the season is playing out, a lot of people were saying because Cleveland had such a good defense, they made a wave last year. They stink. The Bengals, they're not getting it together like people thought that they were going to. So I think there's potential to win some serious football games down the stretch here. Obviously, the ones that would be tough are the 2 Baltimore games, the Kansas City game, Philadelphia, and Washington. But if we're a good team, as we appear to be, again, we're not saying that we're going to win the Super Bowl, but we seem to be a good enough team that we should be able to maybe win 3 out of 5 of those 5 games that I just mentioned, which with other wins along the way is going to put us in a pretty good spot.
All right, what do we have? A couple minutes left here.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me a score? Because I want to get into what I'm really angry about again real quick before we leave. Can you give me a score for the Monday night Steelers game versus the New York Football Giants?
I think they're going to do something similar to what they were able to do against the past 2 teams we just played. I'll put it's crazy to even think that I'm going to say the Steelers are going to score 30-something points for 3 games in a row. But you know what?
Hold on, I take my heart medication.
Brian is like the old Elizabeth, I'm coming. The old Sanford and Son is what you looked like here. But I'm going to say
Elizabeth, is it?
I think
his
so.
Wife? Okay.
I think so. Well, she had died, and he was, I'm coming to see you, Elizabeth. You remember? Steelers 34, and the Giants 9.
Niner. I feel like the New York Football Giants are going to score like 20, and the Steelers are going to score something in the 20s. But I feel like it's going to be a game that's not that close in the second half.
Yes.
Like maybe the first half is competitive, but like the Giants score something late that doesn't matter,
Right.
and it makes it look like it's like 27-20, but really it wasn't even close.
So 34-9 was mine.
Okay, mine's 27-20, the Steelers.
All right.
And we have 1 minute left. Real quick, I want you guys to go over to the Two Dumb Yinzers. That's the number 2 DUM Yinzers. Check them out. They are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube from 11 a.m. till noon, so make sure you check them out. As well as that, I don't think we're going to do it this Sunday, and I don't think we're going to do it the next Sunday. I think we're going to do it when we come back for the Redskins. Every Sunday at 11 a.m., we do the Steelers pregame show, but because it's a Monday night game, because they have the bye, we're going to skip 2 weeks with that. But make sure you check out the Two Dumb Yinzers on YouTube. Sundays is with me. We do an hour from 11 till noon. It's usually a pregame, so we'll fill you in on that moving forward. Also, make sure you go over to my YouTube page, One Man's Opinion on Sports. Check out my video. It is Trump, Musk, Steelers, Jets, Streaker. It's a great video. It's 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Go over there and watch the whole thing, because I'll tell you what, YouTube is not putting it out there because it is election time.
And I got to say this, Brian, one thing I really, really enjoy about your videos, there's so much information within a minute's time period. In 60 seconds, you learn so much. You could go on and you could watch 5 or 6 videos in just a few minutes. Go check his stuff out. Really, really informative, good videos.
All right, everyone. I appreciate you spending your last 2 hours with us. Ryan, I appreciate you being here with me.
Always.
You do a great job. He is the best producer this side of the Mississippi. Everyone, we'll see you back here next week at 4 o'clock. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll see you back in 166 hours.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale on Beaver County Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230